Yes, and welcome to Vamos. Over the past couple of days, a bunch of things have happened in world football, and that's why I'm here with Abolade and Olumide to digest into what has happened. And we can't start from anywhere else apart from Madrid, the Bernabeu. Rafa Benitez has been sacked, unfortunately, as the coach of Real Madrid after a press conference today when Florentino Perez made Zinedine Zidane the new head coach of Real Madrid. And I want to start with this question. What's your opinion on this decision to sack Rafa? Do you think it's a fair decision or not?
Well, in Florentino Perez's mind, it is the best. Well, no one can debate what he thinks of and what he decides is law in Real Madrid thus far. As opposed to me personally, I just think Real Madrid could be better. I don't think Benitez did enough for me, especially by Real Madrid's high standards, to indicate that Real Madrid were anyway going to win the league from the position they find themselves in now. And granted, people say, he's a cup coach. He's more of the cup competitions and more to that. So maybe he could, win them the Champions League again. But I don't see that happening because you think of Bayern, you think of Barcelona again. I just think I don't think they have enough to grind out those sort of games and show that quality on the big stages sometimes. Yeah.
Bob?
I think obviously everyone was pretty much surprised that he even got the job in the first place. And ever since they lost 4-0 to Barcelona, I think it was only a matter of when he was going to get sacked rather than if. And the players clearly don't play for him. And the press have slated him the whole time he's been there. They've just been waiting for him to mess up. So it was never a good fit in the first place. And it just highlights how bad and how silly the sacking of Ancelotti was.
Yeah, and going on to Ancelotti, but there's some things that from the Ancelotti reign that you still see in the Rafa reign. Like, for example, this poor results to big teams. You also saw that in the Ancelotti reign, not to the extent because they won the game at the Bernabeu on the Ancelotti, but they still struggled at the Mestalla. They struggled at the Sanchez Pizjuan in the first season. So
yeah, I guess, but I mean, they're playing good teams, and as long as they're playing good teams, you can never. It's always possible in football that if you're playing a big team, you're playing in big games, you can't win them all. Yeah. Even Barcelona struggled. Barcelona got thrashed by Celta Vigo at the start of the season. Things happen, but I feel in terms of a manager, Ancelotti was over the long-term view, he was very successful. So I was still surprised that they sacked him.
Yeah. But in terms of Rafa Benitez as a player, because the media, I feel it's gotten a lot of unfair scrutiny from media, from Real Madrid fans. So I'm going to try to defend him. And I'm going to start by saying that it kind of reminds me of Luis Enrique last season. Remember at this point last season, January 4th, Barcelona benched Messi and Neymar for the game against Real Sociedad. Barcelona lost. There were rumors about Luis Enrique's future, whether he's going to stay, whether he's the right manager, and it kind of seems the same way with Rafa Benitez. And in the game against Valencia, everyone expected that this was downfall, but when they went down to 10 men, the team stepped up. They played better than Valencia for most of the time. They were down to 10 men. They almost got the winner from Bill, and a minute later, Valencia scored the equalizer, which is really funny given how Bill celebrated. But how do you see the similarities between Benitez and Luis Enrique?
I feel when Enrique first got there, he had to kind of figure out how things were going, how things are going to work at Barcelona, because him and Messi's relationship wasn't always good at the start, and it was always kind of, you never really knew if them two were really going to get along, because it was kind of there was a power struggle, and Enrique didn't really know how to deal with Messi. He didn't, he understood the club, but I don't think he really understood in deeper terms how they're supposed to treat Messi at the club, etc.
Mm.
So, but after a while, he made an effort to do that and to make things right and to pick the right players for games, right formations, etc. But with Rafa Benitez, I feel like there was never really a chance for him to gain the respect of the players. Like, he would never gain the respect of the players, and the bad results just made it easier for the players to disrespect him, even though they probably never really respected him to a high extent in the first place.
You know the nickname Rafa got among his players in the dressing room?
Sorry?
You know the nickname Rafa got among his players in the dressing room?
No?
Number 10, because he'd never played football. Yeah, but it's a good thing Real Madrid are bringing in a club legend who has played football before, but in terms of coaching experience, he lacks it a lot. That's
that's why I'm still very surprised. I feel like he lacks a lot, and even with the Castilla, like, I don't think he's necessarily done well either. So I just don't understand that club. A club of that stature, a club of that stature, they make some very amateur decisions, I feel.
Yeah, and do you feel like Real Madrid, in some ways, they're turning institutionally into another AC Milan in terms of how they handle their business? Like, remember, I think 2 seasons ago, AC Milan sacked Allegri and they hired Seedorf, and then it was Inzaghi before. And we look at Real Madrid, they sacked Benitez in the middle of the season. Similarly, I don't think he's been that bad. And they brought in Zidane, and it's like he has Champions League. He has to deal with 2 competitions, and this is his first stint as manager. Like,
I feel like as long as Perez is the president, anything is possible at that football club. Really, like he basically just Real Madrid. I feel like he cares far more about off the pitch and the finances of Real Madrid and how the club is, economically, than he actually cares about what's going on the pitch. Like, he just sees, the results aren't good, fans don't like him, players don't like him, he should go. But I never really feel like he makes any long-term decisions. Like, everything he does just seems to be, because that's how he feels right now, but in a couple of months, etc., he might feel a different way, and he doesn't care. Like, he'll change what needs to be changed. So, and with that kind of chairman at your football club, there's never going to be any like long-term goal. Like, you can never see the club going in some sort of long-term direction, like you see at Barcelona. Like, there isn't really, in terms of philosophy at the club, besides the economic aspect.
yeah, and like even saying that, like Florentino Perez backed Rafa a couple of months ago after the Clasico defeat, but now it's like it's gone. And Zidane faces a very interesting team in his first game. He faces Deportivo La Coruña, a team who have lost as many games as Real Madrid and Barcelona. How do you see that going?
It's the kind of same. I feel like we're going to get a similar reaction that Chelsea players did when Mourinho left, in the sense that they might start playing like they should because the manager's not there anymore. And this whole kind of, I'm not sure if this has always been around or maybe it hasn't been highlighted, but the sense of when players don't like the manager, they stop playing for him. It just seems like it's something that's just become a lot more prominent now than it was before. And I reckon Real Madrid will win that comfortably.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that Rafa Benitez is gone, and they're going to play with their own, for themselves now, and for Zidane, because they'll definitely respect him.
Yeah.
I just want to say as well that during this time of Real Madrid basically underperforming, one notable man has been not showing quality that he is renowned for, Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think, Timmy, you're the one that uploaded a picture showing the distributions of his goals this season. And you think about the top, I don't think they played, I can't remember if they played Atletico Madrid or if he scored in that game. But I know Barcelona, Villarreal, games where they actually needed, like a rabbit out of the hat trip. Ronaldo was nowhere to be found. That he's really, if you could say in some ways, been ghosting in the Real Madrid team. He hasn't really. It's almost like sometimes he's just ready to kick back. It's almost like he has his eye on the exit door and like he's ready to go. There's talks of PSG and blah blah blah. I don't know. I personally haven't really given any thoughts as to whether or not he might be Real Madrid. But if you think about it personally, he has achieved almost, if not everything, he can at Real Madrid.
Except the trouble. Except the trouble. Except the treble,
but then again, I said individually, like he's achieved everything he can. So like as an individual, he's achieved everything he can achieve. So I think right now, he's bored. Really, I think so. That's my assessment. And well, maybe Zidane can inspire him again. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, and I want to talk about another player who we've spoken about loads on this podcast. It's Gareth Bale. He keeps on performing well. Like, he's the best player at Real Madrid at the moment. And Bob, what's changed from this season to last season? Because last season, Bale was anonymous in some games this season. Before the Clasico, Bale wasn't showing his best form, but after the Clasico, Bale's exploded.
I feel like he pretty much knows that. I mean, I think this is Ronaldo's last season, and I think Bale might have inside information also that this is Ronaldo's last season. So I feel like Bale is a little bit more confident now, knowing that if Ronaldo does go, he will become the main man. And so now he's kind of moving into his own period, and Ronaldo is demanding the ball less. Like Ronaldo's less bothered, basically, because this probably will be his last season, and he's like he has achieved everything there. So I feel like it's kind of the thing, like passively Ronaldo's kind of passed on the baton almost to Bale, like go and do your thing now, like I'm not really that bothered anymore. Bale's took it on.
Yeah, like you look at in the goal, the first goal against Valencia, like his skill in that goal was just world class. And then you look at him and you're like, that's £100 million, £100 million player, compared to like a couple of seasons ago where like he's just like fades away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I still feel like he still has a long way to go to reach that level he was at, even in his first season. That kind of confidence he showed in his first season, because he had just got there. He still had the same hunger he had at Tottenham, and he was playing for himself. He was playing with something to prove, and I feel like he's almost gotten too comfortable. So I feel like he needs, a bit more of a kick up the backside, and I feel like Zidane will be able to help Bale improve his game a lot, because even before that they signed Bale, Zidane was the one who was going to watch Bale frequently during his last season at Tottenham, and so I feel like he'll know how to get the best out of Bale.
So, only final verdict on Zidane?
I wish him well. Zidane, I really don't see. Personally, I don't see how he could take them into. In my opinion, even though Barcelona have fallen behind a bit, I don't see Real Madrid winning the league, and I think that's what they really wanted the most. Not even anything else, just winning the league and saying, yes, we are the team in Spain again. The giants that we once were. So I think Barcelona has dominated for too long. I think I wish him well, but I still think he would fall short. And depending on the managerial merry-go-round that seems to be going around world football now, I'm only surprised if come July there's another person in the Real Madrid and hot seat again.
Yeah. And let's move on to Barcelona. They had a Catalan derby on the weekend where Barcelona couldn't score against Espanyol Xavi. And this means that Barcelona have drawn 3 out of the last 4 games in the league since they beat Real Madrid. And this point, it's a bit difficult for me to understand, because they had this commanding performance against Madrid, then they move on to Valencia, they draw against Deportivo at home after being 2-0 ahead. And then Espanyol, it's they just couldn't score to save their lives. Suarez had the nightmare of a game against Espanyol, so did Neymar, and Messi was just anonymous.
I guess now we know they're human. They are not machines and can produce 100% of the time. I guess if it's not a loss, it's a draw. That yes, they do give their rivals hope in terms of yes, these people are human and they are beatable, or at least they're not exactly superhumans every single day of the week. That's the thing. But like I said, I just don't see how over the course of the season, and especially the players they have now available to play, Adam Turan and Alex Vidal, they would add even more potency to the team, which right now can do no wrong going forward. And as an Arsenal fan, I really do just look forward to February or March in any way.
Yeah, Bob.
Oh, no.
But let me just bring you in to discuss like the recent games, like with Barca dropping points, with Real dropping points.
I have a funny feeling that Real Madrid and Barcelona might do well in the Champions League, and they could either get to the final, both get to the final. But I have a feeling Atletico Madrid might sneak this league again because they're just moving silently, and it's like people they're getting late goals, they're winning games, and it's the kind of thing where they have a much better team now than they did even when they won the league, and they're much more, in terms of depth as well. And I feel like if Barcelona, not even, and if Barcelona and that don't get their minds together, that Atletico Madrid can start building quite a healthy lead at the top of the table if this continues for the next couple of weeks. And it's the kind of thing where if Barcelona and Real Madrid don't start picking up the pace, by the time they do get to form, Atletico Madrid might be, quite ahead to the point where they're playing catch up and it might not work. Just like, a couple of seasons ago when Atletico Madrid won it. So I'd say if Barcelona don't win the league, Atletico Madrid will be the next team, probably.
But let me go on.
Yeah, I was going to say that yes, they seem to be this unit that almost seems unbreakable at times. Atletico Madrid, I think they've considered the fewest goals in the league. If I am wrong, it just shows I didn't really watch.
They've considered fewest goals in the league.
Sorry?
They've considered fewest in the league.
Okay, I know, because I see them with too many 1-0s, 2-0s, and Antonio Griezmann at the moment just can't do no wrong for them. So you think about now, if he gets injured, where would the goals come from? Because right now he scored more than 50% of the goals they've scored this season in La Liga.
Yeah, that's a surprising number because they have players like Jackson, Vieto, Fernando Torres. They have attacking players, so it's surprising that Griezmann is carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders for Atletico Madrid.
He feels confident and he's not afraid. Well, right now he's showing I think he's showing himself as a candidate for those like how Benzema was a couple of years ago. He's kind of dropped off, or as a world winner striker, he's getting to that tier of maybe Aguero and just Suarez, because he is consistent for Atletico Madrid. Like I see, when I look at Atletico Madrid game, I see 1-0 up, and I tend to just look and like that Griezmann, and I'm not surprised because really, I'm sure they look for him everywhere on the pitch.
So Griezmann or Sterling?
Griezmann,
okay.
Yeah, Sterling's trash.
Yeah, and just a piece of La Liga news. Espanyol got taken over by a Chinese company called Rasta Group. Do you think foreign investments will help La Liga?
It depends if it's long term, because a lot of stuff that's been happening in football recently, at least over the last 5 to 10 years, is teams getting a vast amount of investment, and just as quickly those owners leaving the club also, and leaving the club way worse than before they even got there, because they have a sudden surge in all this money. They buy all these players, pay them all these crazy wages. and then suddenly everything goes wrong, and the investors leave and sell it off, and then more people come in, sell it off, and it just becomes a very weird cycle. So it depends. It depends how the owners treat the club, and if it's a long-term thing, then it's good. But if it's short-term, then I think it always harms clubs.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about Gary Neville. He hasn't gotten a win in La Liga yet, and he's 14 points off the pace for fourth in La Liga. How do you see his season going? Do you think he's going to last the year?
Nope. Well, he will last the year, I think. Well, he will be gone at the year, I think.
Yeah, and I think the fact of him saying that he's not, his future doesn't lie in management, that doesn't give me any confidence on the rest of his tenure at Valencia. Like, why would you say that when you haven't finished yet? Like, how's that going to give anyone any confidence?
Yeah,
like
he said that for the round.
He's basically saying like, I've interned for a couple of weeks and I don't like it.
Well,
exactly. Like, I'll be out anyway, and
it's basically it's like.
In his defense, he came
out the office and telling everyone that you're not going to stay.
In his defense, he came out and said that's in 10 to 15 years' time, or 15 to 20 years. But like, that's a weird thing to say, like before your first game against Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, in the race for fourth is Villarreal. Do you see them maintaining the push because Celta Vigo are off the pace at the moment?
I still feel like it's only halfway through the season. A certain, teams that are in, 10th place might pack up their ideas and get around, the European spots, and teams in the European spots now might not, might fall off form. So Villarreal, I think, have a better core than Celta Vigo do in terms of how they go about their football. And I feel like Celta Vigo just have a few players who are too good to be playing for them. And after those players leave, Nolito and the rest, after those players leave, they'll be back to quite an average side.
Right, okay. And let's move on to England. And 2016 has been the return of the big boys. Let's start with Arsenal. They won against Newcastle. Were you impressed by their win, or do you feel that they have the potential to play more?
Arsenal and being able to grind it out, and now one thing I can say, I have this level of at least sanity or calmness about me, which has been brought about by Petr Cech. I don't think every single shot that is coming at the Arsenal goal is going to be a goal, unlike previous seasons. Like, he has really, I think, Pundit said that. I think it was Scholes or Gary Neville that said, I think the previous Manchester United player said that Czech could easily win Arsenal 12 points, 11 points in the double-digit points in the race for the title. And thus far, I think he's well on the way to, keeping his end of the bargain and driving us over the line for that finish. I think Arsenal needs some players back, at least one or two. Right now, when they look at that bench, it's almost just get over the line. And okay, I'll say this one time, like, I really do not know for the life of me how Ramsey missed that chance he missed in that game. It's just unbelievable. After like basically dropping two players dead, he side foots it out. I really don't know. Ramsey needs to pick up. He needs to. I wish he could require that form he had last season when he was banging goals, or the 2 seasons ago. Was my brain might be foggy at this point, but he needs to acquire that form again. Also seems to be consistent enough, which is
Ozo's been really good. Ozo, even without like Alexis, like. So how do you see Arsenal moving on as a team when they're both playing together and they're both unsung? And even Giroud is providing the goals. Ozo's playing like his Real Madrid form. Alexis is playing like Udinese. Like, when the three get together, what do you see for that Arsenal team? What can they achieve?
Right now, like what Bob said a couple of podcasts ago, Arsenal are the most. You can consistently rely on Arsenal being inconsistent. So that is a worry for me. And as an Arsenal fan, I tend to. It's almost like maybe because I'm an Arsenal fan, I have adopted a pessimistic view of when they play. Sometimes I just kind of assume, okay, let's say we get a draw from this. Like, okay, let what happens then. Like kind of like maybe assume that's the worst possible. Like I assume the worst possible scenario and stuff. But I think Arsenal, they've been better. They really have improved. Czech has brought us in leaps and bounds, and hopefully no one else gets injured. Because I think right now, if Ozil gets injured or Ramsey gets injured, then we will struggle.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
So badly. The midfield will be gone as likely how we want. So we need guys back, and Wilshere whenever he decides to get off his bed. And Rosicky, I don't even know if he's an Arsenal player or as he is, but I mean, I haven't seen him so long. Arteta should just stay away from the pitch. Just stay wherever he is.
Yeah, but speaking about
the guys should adopt a player coaching role.
He should just stay away. Just stay off the pitch. Just in general, just stay away. I don't look forward to his talk anyway.
Speaking about
Arsenal do have a chance, and best chance.
Speaking about new Arsenal players, Wenger promised that he was going to be busy in January. He's responded by potentially buying Mohamed El Neni. Bob, do you know him?
Nope, I know nothing about it. And if I don't know anything about it, not that I know football like amazingly, but even players in Basel, I know some of their players, and I've never really thought he's never stood out. Like I've never heard his name stand out. So, but this is classic Wenger. I told you, he doesn't buy stars. He buys stars, but rarely. He just buys all these unknown guys and tries to, And so basically, Wenger, most of the time, it's okay, take out Mesut and take out Alexis. How many other proven players has he, and Petr Cech, how many proven players has he bought in the last 5 years of him being Arsenal manager? Not many, literally probably none.
Yeah.
And so,
wait, there's been one. Shamak.
So I'm not surprised when he buys players that are relatively unknown, because that is his start. So, but even though to me right now what they do need is to buy already known, already established, solid players, because they need to win the league. They don't need to get fourth, or get Europe anymore. This El Neni signing is like a fourth place Europe. So like it's not. This guy might be good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if this is the right time, especially when you have a depleted squad. You need someone who you can trust. That's why I was surprised that they didn't really go and try and buy someone who's already in the Premier League, maybe. Because moving in during January and stuff to me, is never really that smart. Especially because if you're buying someone because of injuries and stuff, that means he is going to be playing a lot. Then I don't know if buying someone outside the league is always the best idea.
And who do you recommend they buy in the attacking position? There are some suggestions that Aubameyang should come in.
I don't know Aubameyang. He doesn't suit Arsenal's play. Arsenal. I don't think on the ball he's good enough. Like he's an explosive striker going forward. Like he likes running in behind and almost playing on the shoulder sometimes. But I don't think on the ball his on-the-ball skills are good enough to be able to link up the way Arsenal does. And he can learn on the job, but I don't really want Aubameyang. I really don't. And if you were to ask me who I want at this point in time, I'll get back to you. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, let's move on to United. They finally win! Yay! Rooney finally scores. Double yay! New Year, United, Bob.
I'm telling you.
So
Martial is making Rooney look like a striker. It's not. I'm telling you, if Martial had better players around him, he would have scored 15 goals by now, at least overall in all competitions, easily. Because he literally, when you watch our games, he's the only player that looks positive. He's the only player that looks like something might happen when he gets on the ball. Because everyone else is so negative. Mata has zero pace, so he has to rely on making a pass or, his first touch has to be perfect and he must shoot. He only has 1 or 2 touches on the ball before he has to do something with it because he's not blessed with pace and he's playing on the wing. And Rooney, I'm not sure, what drugs he's been taking this season or, whatever he's on, but Rooney's not been playing well at all. And so it's literally up to Martial every game right now to make something happen. And it's sad because he's just a teenager, like he's just a kid. He's 20 now, but like he just turned 20. Like it's sad that this is what it's come to at United. But at the moment he's still doing what he does, and he scored on the weekend. He assisted Rooney also, so it worked in that game. But if someone if teams are smart, they'll leave the rest of the players with less sort of emphasis and just mark Martial and take him out the game because that's how you're most probably going to beat us.
Yeah, speaking about the Rooney goal, like it was like a lot of class for that goal. Incredible skill.
So, quick second, Igalo. I don't even care. Just throw 15 mil at Watford and get Igalo. That's Have you seen that guy wrestle the ball off defenders? It's unbelievable.
That guy, he's hungry.
Yeah. And
but he's not up for sale apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I don't know what that even means because if someone comes and chucks 13 million, do you think Watford are going to look back and say, he's not up for sale?
No, it's just like they're a club that like they basically the owners of Watford, they own Udinese and they own Granada, so they have like 3 sources of income. So so in some sense they're more financially stable than other clubs because they can use some of the resources from the other clubs in the other leagues that they have.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I guess that's why he's also been linked to Atletico Madrid as well.
Igalo,
Yeah,
get him in. I don't even care.
Yeah, Nigerian striker as well. Good for us. But Bob,
he's second only to Lukaku.
I don't know. Harry Kane to me is besides I'm not even at this moment in time I'd probably say besides Aguero, a fit Aguero, there's no one else I'd want up front other than Harry Kane. Because I don't know, if you look at the team he's around, like he's Harry Kane, and in this calendar year he scored 27 league goals, not even just overall, 27 times in the league. It's nuts. Like he's transformed unbelievably, and for Lukaku, because Lukaku obviously it's easier for him to bully players, etc. He's big and whatever, but I don't know. I feel like Harry Kane's a bit more flamboyant and is a bit smarter with the way he plays. Lukaku just kind of enforce. Yeah, he's like he's an enforcer, like in the air, etc. If Lukaku's going for the ball, if he wants that ball, he's gonna get it. Like
I think in terms of I think Kane is a better or is a pure finisher. But
yeah,
I
definitely.
think Lukaku's all-round game is better than Harry Kane. That's why I rather.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
And Bob, do you think United can get top 4? There are only 3 points.
Yeah. The Premier League is the Premier League is ridiculous this season. I'm telling you, like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone says to me at the end of the season, "Oh, United won the league." Because of the way this season is going, I wouldn't even argue because anyone could beat anyone in this league. Teams are going week in, week out. Teams, in terms of betting and stuff like that, I've just quit the Premier League because anyone can beat anyone. Like, a couple of weeks ago, Southampton thrashed Arsenal 4-0. And now they're losing to Norwich. Like, it's just, nothing is certain in this league, especially this season. So, I really don't. I think top 4, we will be in top 4 by the end of the season. It's just whether we can actually get somewhere respectable.
Yeah. And in terms of the points for the champions, do you think it's going to be below 80 this year?
No. I feel like whoever gets 80 and above will win the league, but it won't be below 80.
Just talk about City. They've been resurgent recently. They're only 3 points off the pace on Arsenal. Aguero, 2 goals. Title challengers.
Oh, absolutely. They're still going to be around.
Yeah. And
Always.
how do you rate them compared to Arsenal in terms of challenging for a title?
I just think altogether, City have big game players. So I think over the course of the season, that would give them an edge. But then I also think of Arsenal and how the second half of this season always seems to be like around March is when they make their best runs. And Arsenal, where they are now, I saw the stats saying Arsenal are the last team to be top at New Year's and not win the league in the last 5 seasons. Also, like the last team to do that and not win the league. So I think about how at this point in time they are still top. Be just by 2 points or the 1 point. They really do need to walk up and get it done. Because I don't think it's going to become any easier next year.
Yeah, because like you just said, Arsenal, a couple of seasons ago, Arsenal were way better off, at the top of the league at this time, and still didn't win the league. And so nothing is, especially with Arsenal, nothing is certain. Like even the last few performances have shown me that. The Newcastle one, you could easily have lost. I mean, you probably should have lost. Newcastle, Czech basically just saved you. And, Southampton, you go there and lose 4-0 for no apparent reason. It's not as if Southampton were in scintillating form or, anything like that. It was just a very random result. But those kind of results are always possible with Arsenal. Always possible, especially defensively. I've never thought Arsenal have ever been a team that's really been solid at the back. So I feel like I still don't think you'll win the league. Not now.
Yeah.
Czech has changed that. I just think Czech, I think, would be the signing of the season. I think it will be the signing of the season. I think by a mile. And I just hope like Arsenal will get many injuries between now and the season, because that would be their downfall, amongst other things, them being inconsistent as ever. They need the players fit.
Yeah. Speaking about teams that will never win the league, let's talk about Liverpool. Some things don't change. They're still shit. They lost to West Ham on the weekend. Well, like
I don't blame Klopp. I blame Lovren and the likes of them defense.
So how many players does Klopp need to bring in between the winter and the summer?
I don't think Liverpool can win the league this season. And I think Benteke as well. I think he just needs to rediscover himself somehow. Yes, he did score a goal in the game. His game playing hasn't been impressive.
Yeah.
You think of Benteke in Aston Villa and how he was ripping teams apart. He went to Arsenal, he ripped Arsenal apart and stuff. And just don't see him being as dynamic or as threatening as he was then. So I just think that I don't think Liverpool have a chance. That Klopp should just build to next year. I think we'll let go for some stuff.
Yeah, but even you mentioned a big player, Benteke. Klopp doesn't like his work ethic. In the game against Leicester City, Klopp came out and was like, "Oh, Benteke just scored 1 goal, and that's it. Like 1 goal is 1 moment, but what about the rest of the game?" And it's not a Benteke's work ethic. He kind of prefers Origi, but Origi is not as good as Benteke.
Yeah, I think Origi does float around more. Benteke is more in and around the box sort of guy. But yeah, I agree with he just scored the goal. I mean, you think yes, he scored the goal which won the game, but on the balance of his performance in general, he wasn't there. Like he wasn't prominent for the team and stuff. And I think Tottenham this season, and they're doing a very efficient job. Being able, Kane right now shooting, beyond his wildest dreams. Dele Alli seems to be, prominent.
Dele Alli is the signing of the season, not Czech. I'm telling you, that kid, it's sad. It really shows how silly some of the top clubs, like their scouting system is. If someone from England can be that good and gets picked up for 5 million, and that's it. But no one was really fighting over him. Liverpool kind of wanted him, but didn't show as much interest to Spurs, and that was literally it. Chelsea, Arsenal, United, City, none of them even looked. And somehow it slipped through everyone's fingers.
Yeah, but isn't that a problem with the Premier League in the sense that like they're all the big clubs because they earn so much money, they're all focused on like buying big name players rather than intelligent scouting and like getting the right players to the team and like developing them.
Yeah, I feel like that's a massive issue, and someone like Dele Alli has definitely highlighted like where the problem is with that. And so, maybe some clubs, a lot of the big clubs do need to, rethink their strategy.
Yeah. And speaking of big clubs, one that we haven't spoken about is Chelsea. They were in action against Crystal Palace on the weekend. They won 3-0. And the standout performance from the game were Costa, Oscar, Mikel, surprisingly, and Fabregas.
Willian.
Yeah, and
Willian over
yes.
Oscar.
So it looks like these, like nothing's wrong. Like they've changed. Like now top 4.
Mikel is probably loving. He probably needs to give just hitting like a couple of kisses just for letting him stretch his legs this season, because he was too comfortable. When the player is just too casual, it just kind of irritates you as an opponent. I think that's what how Mikel was playing in that game, just too casual. Really, I don't think Matic was. I think it was actually a tactical decision to play Mikel over Matic.
Yeah.
I think it paid off. Like Mikel, I actually saw him at some point actually in the opponent's half. Be it not taking a shot at goal, but then moving the ball along. And he has been a very efficient player for Chelsea when he has been called up, I think.
And Costa, do you think he should stay?
Costa will stay. I don't see how many other strikers will become available between now and say the start of next season or whatever. But Costa will stay, and I think now he just doesn't seem to flare up as much as he used to. Under Mourinho and everything. And I guess we'll actually be seeing him play football and not wrestling.
Yeah, and that's always good. And with the way Chelsea are going now, like, do you think they would have improved sufficiently enough by the time they face PSG in the Champions League?
I still think PSG are favourites, and rightly so. Yeah. Well, over two legs. I think Chelsea will edge it because I think they're stronger at home. Yeah. And PSG, like I said, just the quality of the league really puts them in a bad place, because I don't think they're tested nearly enough to the point where Chelsea players are, say, the week before the Champions League game. So there is that sense of didn't we just be, say, the second best team in France? Let's say 3-0. That's how PSG would be thinking. But then, they come to the Champions League and it's a whole different ballgame. I think Laurent Blanc has to understand that, like, personally, and really make sure he, gets the players motivated and concentrated for the game.
Yeah, Bob?
I'm not really sure. I feel like probably PSG will edge it. They have too many. Going forward, they have too much. They probably have too much for Chelsea, and Chelsea's defense has been really bad this season. As bad as they have been going forward, their worst aspect of their team is probably their defense. So yeah, and I feel like players like Di Maria, I'm not 100% sure, because as good as even PSG, they have a lot of attacking talent, but I'm not sure if the likes of Di Maria, Ibrahimovic can, Cavani, if they turn it on, when it really matters. I'm not sure if they've ever been those players, those three, except from Di Maria when he was at Real Madrid. But even when I watch him in France now, like, I can't always judge because he's playing in such a bad league. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure if they'll necessarily turn it on when it matters, but we'll see, yeah. I feel like the game, it'll be close. Like, whoever wins will probably win it by just one goal on aggregate.
And also, like, you mentioned Chelsea's bad defense. Like, do you think they'll get stoned in the winter?
No. I feel like he might still want to leave, but I'm not necessarily sure if Chelsea would be his destination.
Just want him to go to Manchester United.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we haven't spoken about Leicester all the podcast, but let's talk about them now.
We spoke about them last time, but since then, their form has kind of dipped. Jamie Vardy's gone for surgery. They just drew with Bournemouth, etc. They're just coming back down to earth.
They scored,
they 40 points. So I feel like these players have just chilled. So I don't know.
They've gone 3 games without scoring a goal.
Scoring a goal, yeah, that's crazy. 2 points out of 9.
After scoring every single game before that.
Exactly. You can't do it. Whatever goes up must come down.
Yeah. But another team that have been outperforming in the Premier League is Watford with Quique Sanchez Flores. How do you rate his performances? They're like 7th or 8th on the table at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like he's very intelligent in how they approach games because they don't try and outplay teams. They know, quality-wise, they can't match teams. So what they try and do is frustrate teams. Like going forward, they always try and frustrate teams and just basically leave most of the attacking point to to Dini and
Igalo.
So
how can you not know his name?
You're Nigerian, Bob. You're just great.
Look, my voice. Look, my mind is blank for 1 second. So yeah, basically, and I feel like they're going well, but I feel like they're not going to do anything. By the end of the season, they'll probably be maybe 10th. So like they're not really going to go any further up the table. I doubt for most of the season.
I think they'll finish in Europe.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know if they're Europa League. I think because they just any injuries, because everything is down, but injuries play a major part. I think Bournemouth when Callum Wilson got sidelined for the rest of the season, more or less, that has really hurt them, goal wise, and so I think when Igalo gets injured, then Dini will have that dynamic striker to find up front.
Yeah,
so without any injuries, I think they will do.
And also in terms of Watford going forward, like it's like they have the perfect club model. Like for example, they can buy cheap with Granada and Udinese, and they can also like buy the big players, and so they can basically like buy young talents for very cheap and nurture them at Granada or Udinese, and for the big stars where don't feel certain gaps with the new Premier League money, they can buy like some top stars, and that could lead to like a potential new superstar club in Watford.
I guess we'll wait.
It's possible, yeah. But I mean, the other 2 teams aren't exactly world beaters either.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like right now, Watford are probably the main focal point.
Yeah. And lastly, let's talk about Villa. They've been shit this year. Only 8 points.
Relegated. Villa.
Why are Villa so bad?
They're playing terrible. They have, I'm not necessarily sure they made the right appointment. I felt like they should have kept. When you're looking for someone to, help you in this kind of relegation battle, I'm not sure if it's always so clever to pick someone who's never coached in that league. Like it just seems like, you already have so much to do in terms of the league position, but you're making it even harder, because that person who comes in has so much catching up to do, so much research to do, just so much extra work because they've never coached in that league and they have a lot of things to learn. And if you're fighting a relegation battle, you don't have time to learn certain things. You have to get stuck in straight away, and I don't think they've done that under him at all. So,
and it looks like those rumors about a shuffle in the dressing room after the game last against Sunderland at the weekend.
Oh, I haven't heard about that. What did you hear about?
Oh, I heard about a bunch of players, a bunch of Aston Villa players after the game. They started fighting with each other, which was weird because they show little fights. According to Villa fans, they show little fights on the pitch. And when they get
Well, that's stupid then, yeah. Well, that just shows that everything's going wrong.
yeah, but like in terms of the squad, are they the worst squad in England?
They're definitely...
Performance-wise, yeah. They're like, just play...
In terms of individual talent, though.
Sorry?
In terms of individual talent.
They have a few stand-up players, IU and such. But
they still have no one that's really that great. Yeah, they probably deserve to be in a relegation battle, to be fair. I mean, and they don't. It's funny because players like Adama, who really should be starting at every game because of his attacking ability, doesn't play as much. They have a lot of other players that don't do anything week in, week out, and somehow still get in the team. So I don't understand. It's time to take risks.
Yeah, and it would be sad for them because they're such a big club, and like go back to 1982 when they won the Champions League, and it would be sad that they're getting relegated. But like, do you feel relegation might help them in a sense? Like,
no, because I feel like they're the type of team that if they go down, I doubt they'll come straight back up.
Oh.
Unless if they keep their core team as possible, but if they don't, then I don't necessarily think they'll come straight back up.
Yeah.
And that would be a massive blow financially, because obviously a lot of players would be sold.
Yeah, so I think will be gone.
Yeah, but Jordan's not that good.
Oh, yeah, are you going is definite if they get relegated.
Yeah.
Jack Grealish will get picked up by another Premier League team as well.
Yeah, and like bye Adama and Chapman, Callis Hill. Yeah, I guess that's it for us, guys. And Happy New Year to you all. Thanks for having a chat with me. And adios and vamos.